I believe in the people in this town, I believe in the community, I believe in the district, and I believe in what we have, and I believe we're doing great things.
It's a town of hard workers and a town that honors.
Kind of like the Hall of Fame is for pro athletes, this is our Wall of Fame in Mount Union.
It's also a town that remembers.
We have a lot of stuff to say. We're proud of our town.
We're in your town, also known as Bricktown. This is your town, Mount Union.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Mount Union, Pennsylvania, brick capital of the world, the community located in Huntingdon County, but not very far from the Mifflin County line. I'm Jen Johnson along with Lindsay Ward. And look who we've got with us
what
today.
A crowd! Fantastic. Now, over the summer, we're visiting a number of communities across our region, highlighting the people as well as the things in history that make them unique.
And we are live outside the Mount Union Junior Senior High School. This is a place that isn't just for classes. A lot of the community uses this facility to gather, whether it be for sports or meetings. And you can tell just from the gathering today that the people here in Mount Union are very proud of their community. So before we go any further, we want to give you a little bit of history about this very special town.
Mount Union owes its name to its natural location at the unification of the mountains. Founded in November of 1867, part of the community is situated right along the Juniata River, while the rest gradually rises away from the river toward the mountains. It's a crossroads of industry, transportation, and ethnicity.
At one time, Mount Union had a large ethnic population of Italians, Eastern Europeans. When the Roman Catholic Church was built in Mount Union, the priest was able to speak 7 languages because it was such a diverse congregation. In the 1920s, during the Great Migration, a large number of African Americans came to Mount Union to work in the brickyards because a lot of people were going to work in the powder plant.
The community is also known for transportation dating back as early as 1831. The Pennsylvania Main Line Canal System evolved commercial activity in the area. That was followed by the railroad period by 1850. The Pennsylvania Main Line Railroad made its way into town, followed by the East Broad Top Line. The community is fondly called Bricktown. In the early 20th century, the town had 3 silica brick refractories, and locals say at the time, Mount Union was the largest producer of bricks in the world.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, we are broadcasting live today from the Mount Union Area Junior Senior High School, and there's a specific reason for that. The high school is a very special asset to the community.
It isn't just a place for academics. Some say the Mount Union Junior Senior High School serves as a centerpiece to the community, lending its gymnasiums, auditorium, plus its outdoor track and ball fields, all for community use. It hosts various meetings, sporting events, even an Easter egg hunt. The district offers a free lunch program to students in the community.
We're able to feed our kids of the town that may not get a lunch all summer long. We're able to feed them, and that makes us happy to be able to do that.
But that's not all. The school celebrates the town's heritage with a mural wall featuring photos from the town's heyday. It also showcases distinguished alumni with what's called the Wall of Honor.
And it's voted on by a committee. They sit down and they review the history of that person and see if they are worthy of being on the Wall of Honor. And if so, they're voted in, and then there's a banquet in their honor.
The Wall of Honor consists of decorated military veterans, athletes, composers, and many others. The walls existed for at least 25 years.
And now we're going to turn our attention
and this is really cool here.
A different wall. This is the
who helped make this
memorial wall
behind me
recently
possible
completed by a group of seniors for their student project, and we're going to send it.
Why did you decide to make
Lindsay?
this for the senior project?
Well, we wanted to do something that would change the town, kind of. We wanted to do something to, leave a mark so people remember what we did.
And why make it, you said, Killed in Action Memorial? Why have that specifically for Mount Union? Garrett?
It kind of hit close to my family anyways, because my great uncle was killed in Vietnam.
And so that was one of those things. We got a hold of Jeremy Krause, and he suggested this project, and we just ran from there, and it turned into what it is today, basically.
And James, tell me how this process went along and how you were able to make it to look the way it does now.
First, we all got together and designed it and worked with the VFW and the American Legion, and then we just started working and spent countless hours out here with Dwight Rittenhouse just putting it all together, and then.
Kind of give us an idea of what we're seeing here. You know, we have a couple of plaques here in the back. So tell us a little bit about why you made them look the way they do.
Well, that plaque there, that has all the branches of the military in it, Army, Navy, the Air Force, and the Coast Guard, and the Marines.
And then behind us over here?
And then these are all the wars from in order, by the way. It's World War I, II, and then the Korean and Vietnam War, Iraq and Afghanistan. And all since the school's been in existence. Yeah.
And what about this right here?
That is our Killed in Action Memorial. It's the helmet, the gun, and the boots. And back there just says the Mount Union
High School. Are you guys pretty pleased with how it turned out? You mentioned how James, it took several hours to put this together, right?
Yeah. We were here for multiple weekends working on this, Saturdays, Sundays, Fridays, after practice, just about every night. Baseball practice, just whenever we could. Yeah.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here and telling us about this, and I'm sure your school is incredibly proud of you putting this together. Thank you, guys. Yep. Jen?
Just in the time that we've been here, I've seen a lot of community members coming up and taking pictures there, but everything you could ever want to see about Mount Union can really be found in one place. And I bet you'd find a picture of that wall there too. And while you might think it might be maybe in the library, you might be surprised where you'll find so much history in this community.
This is Brian Donaldson's barber shop. He's been in business since 1970, cutting hair along with his brother, but that's not all he does. He also collects photos. Thousands and thousands of photos were either gifted to his shop or he scanned them and made copies, all having something to do with Mount Union or its surrounding communities. Donaldson says the photos capture the history of the town.
With my collection, you can just see the progression of time going by, you know, and I think that's what's sort of fascinating about it.
Donaldson has so many snapshots of history, from the first graduating class at the Mount Union Area High School to odd disasters like when a plane flew into a barn. By the way, according to a local newspaper at the time, the pilot of that plane only had a broken leg. Donaldson says anyone can see his collection. He's digitized each and every photo and sorted them into files on a computer.
I can take people right to the computer, and probably within a matter of 3 minutes, you name a photo, I can find it.
That's not all. Donaldson has published 2 volumes of Bricktown, USA. 2 hardback books showcasing his photos, and he says people travel from all over to stop in and view his pictures.
And as we go through the summer, we will be featuring many more towns on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, and in addition to visiting us during the live broadcast, you can also take part in this with us. You can help us decide of one of the towns we feature. A list of those communities you can choose from listed on your screen. They're Allen Bank, Kerwinsville Emporium, or Williamsburg.
And I know at last check about an hour ago, Kerwinsville is in the lead right now with 43% of the vote, followed very closely by Williamsburg with 36%.
And it's changing day by day almost with those votes as well. Now, we want to mention that voting does end next Thursday. That's June 23rd. Of course, we'll reveal the winner during our Your Town broadcast, which will be Friday, June the 24th.
Okay, we'll have much more from Mount Union right after the break that you won't want to miss. Stay with us.
Huntingdon County today for the second stop of Your Town series.
We are happy to be at the junior senior high school in Mount Union. You can see we've got quite the crowd behind us. This school graduated 103 seniors in the class of 2016, and almost all of them either going on to higher education or have joined the military. So quite the accomplishment for this school district and the community support that they have.
And it's so wonderful to see so many of them here supporting their town like this. Now, crowdfunding has been a saving grace to many in recent years, with websites such as GoFundMe.com.
And one local church is using that method to help save what's called an iconic landmark here in Mount Union.
I was baptized here. That makes it pretty special. And I was confirmed here as a preteen, and I was actually married here.
The Methodist congregation in Mount Union got its start in 1838. Construction for the current church started in 1923. Its bell tower is a focus these days. For about 100 years, the tower has donned a number of looks, but it needs some work. Nancy Corson, the chair of the trustees for the church, says the church had two choices: tear it off or repair it. So the trustees originally thought they would just do away with it, until
a lot of outcry from the community, from people who don't come to this church every Sunday. This is important to us.
That's when the crowdfunding comes into play, and money started to come in from people all over the community. Right now, the church continues to work to secure all of the funds in order to save the bell tower.
Now, that church also means a great deal to the entire Mount Union communities. A lot of events are held at that church, from AA meetings to spaghetti dinners, even blood drives, Lindsay.
Yeah, Jen, and as for the bell tower, the GoFundMe account can be found by searching Save This MU Landmark. Contributions can also be made directly to the church. Mark Bell Tower Fund on your check. Now, you can talk about Mount Union without the word unity, of course, right? It's right there in the title. We've seen how united this community is. Take a look at this crowd behind us here is even larger with that turnout today.
And One Area nonprofit really focuses on giving back while bringing people together. Lauren Hensley is going to tell us about it.
You don't have to look hard to find the presence of Planet Lovejoy in Mount Union. Signs welcoming you into town, that's Planet Lovejoy. A sculpture outside the high school, that's Planet Lovejoy. And a beloved river walk taking you through the beauty of nature. Planet Lovejoy is responsible for all of these community projects.
We just do anything for the greater good that we can. We just saw like our community needed to come together and start rebuilding again, and that's what the whole idea behind it is. Anything for the greater good we do.
Jeremy Krause is the brain behind the nonprofit. In his young adulthood, he fell into the harrowing life of drugs and petty crime. After a stint in federal prison, he kicked the habit and ditched the lifestyle. Now he's a friend and mentor. Krause has devoted his life to giving back, and his selflessness hasn't gone unnoticed.
He's always there to guide me, and he encourages me to open up to him like he opens up to me. And I appreciate everything he does for me and for everyone.
Kindness 360 is a Planet Lovejoy project. High school students visit area elementary schools to teach children the importance of paying it forward. The nonprofit also holds a community pride festival called Mount Unity Day. And their biggest endeavor, the annual Champathon, a 12-hour dance marathon raising money for those battling cancer within the community. Their goal this year was to raise $40,000. If they reached their goal, Krause agreed to get a tattoo.
The outline of Huntingdon County with the Planet Lovejoy logo.
They reached their goal.
So by the end of the night, we're at like $43,500, which was just absolutely phenomenal. So I had to get a tattoo, which, by the way, hurt really bad.
Much like Krause's tattoo, the impact of Planet Lovejoy leaving an everlasting impact on Mount Union. Lauren Hensley, 6 News.
Still ahead, unique is the name of the game, and you probably wouldn't think about it, but steps are a unique part of a trail just outside of Mount Union, and we'll have more about that next. Well, Welcome back to your town, Mount Union. If you like to get outdoors and go for hikes, we've got the perfect place for you. Take a look at this. It's called Simply the 1,000 Steps. It's part of the Standing Stone Trail. The trail itself stretches through parts of Huntingdon, Mifflin, and Fulton counties and is more than 80 miles long, but the 1,000 Steps portion of the trail has particular interest as it's just about 2 miles outside the borough of Mount Union. The steps were built in the 1930s by quarry workers who would cut away at the mountain to quarry the stone used to make silica bricks. They would then hike the stones down the steps and back up as part of their work day. Can you imagine doing that in this kind of heat?
I think it would be a bad idea. I know a lot of us, they're already struggling.
But it is really cool. We saw it on our way into Mount Union, and I mean, it would be quite the workout.
It looks like a hidden gem. It really does. It's really neat there. Now to tell us more about the weather, let's turn things over to Josh in the studio. Josh?
Hi there, Lindsay and Jen. It looks like we're going to increase the heat through the upcoming weekend, so if you want to take that trek up the steps, it looks like we'll need some extra, water. Likely stay hydrated here to get you through that fitness steps there. Anyway, it looks like we're at 80 degrees in Clearfield now, 85 in Huntington State College tonight at 81 degrees. And as we head through the next couple of days, we're going to add a few degrees each afternoon into the weekend and early next week. Futurecast tonight, skies stay generally clear during the day tomorrow. It's all sunshine, folks, for Saturday and on into Sunday, as high pressure sets up shop and is going to stick around for about a 72-hour duration. It's a long stretch of dry weather coming up. It'll be until probably Tuesday before we see some showers and storms. So our weekend planner looks like this. High temperatures Saturday around 80 degrees. On into Sunday for Father's Day, low to mid 80s, but we keep the sunshine all weekend long.
Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Friday. Just south of Mount Union, at the end of each June, is one of the largest Christian musical festivals in the area. Creation Festival is held the last week of June every year at the Agape Farm Retreat Center in Shirleysburg. The farm is owned and operated by Jesus Ministries. It's a large 285-acre property that can handle events of more than 30,000 people. The Creation Festival is one of those events bringing in thousands from all over each year. Creation Festival this year will be from June 29th through July 2nd. Now, a group that got it started in Mount Union still calls Huntingdon County home.
That's right, the Bricktown Model Railroaders Association. We got a couple of them back there. Wave for us.
Yeah.
Is working to overcome some setbacks, and in the meantime, the group's talent is not going to waste.
A group of guys working together to build. Layouts like this are all built from scratch and feature the centerpiece, model trains. This group is from Mount Union. It's called the Bricktown Model Railroaders Association.
Our layout was a recreation of the Mount Union area. With it actually went all the way up the old PRR main line to the tunnels at Gallitzin. And then our plan was to then take the interchange with the East Broad Top and model it down to the mines in Robertsdale.
But the group had to put those plans on hold. The building housing the project was sold, and now everything they built is in storage. But that's when the Isaac Heritage Museum in nearby Huntingdon Borough comes into the picture.
Several years ago, Mr. Isaac's staff approached us at one of our open houses asking about creating a project for the museum.
And in June of 2015, the group began work on a model train layout to be displayed in the museum. And the layout is sort of modeled after Huntingdon Borough.
It's very much Huntington-like. And we say that because there are some landmarks that we tried to recreate for Huntington so people can see it and say, hey, that's the Standing Stone, or hey, that's the Blair Building, or things like that. But some of the things in this layout are just generic type things that would have been around in the 1940s and 50s, which is what this is set in.
This particular project was commissioned by Mr. Isaac himself.
Our old museum display, train display, was in need of some repair, and we decided it was easier to put money into a new one rather than try to refurbish the old one.
And building a new one comes at a price.
This is not cheap at all, no, and we've been working on this for about a year. Our original budget was $5,000. I know we're well over that at this point.
The original end date for the project has already passed, and that begs the question, when is it going to be done?
Should be sometime this summer, but I'm not 100% sure.
We're told once it is done, it will be disassembled into 3 parts and moved into its permanent display area inside the museum.
And Sarah tells us once the layout is complete and ready to be moved into the museum, an announcement will be made on the Bricktown Model Railroaders Association Facebook page. And one last time, you can vote for a town we feature this summer. It could be your town, Alum Bank, Kerwinsville, Emporium, or Williamsburg. Just head to our website, WJAC-TV.com to vote. Voting ends next Thursday. That's June 23rd, and we'll reveal the winner next week during our Your Town broadcast.
Bricktown, it has been a blast. We want to thank the Mount Union Area Junior Senior High School. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Who helped to make your town, Mount Union, such a success. Next week, we're on the road again. We are headed to Breezewood, Bedford County, so get ready. We're broadcasting live from the Breezewood Volunteer Fire Department, and we want to invite you to come on down and join us because it's not just our broadcast, but the fire department is actually having an open house, a cruise-in, complete with food, even a bouncy house for the kids. I might just jump in there. You know how that is. The event is free. It all gets started at 4 o'clock, but our broadcast will get started at 5:30. We'd love to see you. That's next Friday, June 24th. Marty Radovanek and I will be in Breezewood, Bedford County.
Maybe you both can have a good time in the bouncy house,
right.
Jen. Thank you so much for joining us, and we want to thank our crowd for joining us as well.
Marty will have the rest of the day's news right after the break.